Hello everybody. I am gonna just show you how I go about taking the picture of my life cards and turning them into regular greeting cards. And so what I've done is I've laid them all out here and I try to match them up because I want to layer. You know, layering is really important, both cards and layouts. So I want to layer some of these over each other. And so I'm looking for similar colors. So like this has the same colors as this does. And I kind of put them together in a way where the colors are matching before I actually decide how I'm going to create. So this had a nice border that matches this, so I'm going to use that. And you can see how these browns go together. So that's what I kind of first do. And then I go and I look at my paper. So here's what I have left. This is mostly mix-ins from the cards that I did. So I'm taking the scraps from the card workshop. I may be adding in cardstock. I more than likely will, because cards, you kind of need cardstock for the cards. So I've got all of this left, and I'm going to try to use up as much as I can by using these PML cards. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take these PML cards and start layering them on these papers to see which papers will be good backgrounds for them. So that's how I start. These two cards are used on the layouts that Valerie is doing. So if you bought the PML cards and are looking for those, you're going to actually use them on the layouts. So you may not have them for cards. The other card that she used is this one here. So, but I'm going to assume that the card makers are the ones that bought the card making workshops and then added in a PML pack. So we're just going to go ahead as if we have the whole pack. Okay, now I have taken and started adding these to the paper. So this one is big enough that it's just going to cover up the whole front of a card, so I didn't need any paper behind it. But these ones look really good on this wood paper. This looks good on this brown paper. This one's going to be fine by itself, so will this one, because it fills up a whole card. And then I brought out some pine cardstock. I had a little leftover French vanilla, and then I brought out some Harbor cardstock right here that's going to back these two pieces, and then I brought out some black. So you don't really need that many more to add to these cards if you're going to make them just like I do. Okay, I'm just going to take you through my process on how I make this card then. I'll just start with this one because I really like the colors on it. This is going to be my background. This is going to go as the card base, basically, and then I'm going to figure out something to do with this. Not even sure yet. So let's just play with it. So the first thing is I need to make sure this is cut at the card base size. I'm going to just go 5.5 by 4 1/4. Now another thing that would look good on this is if I took some pine cardstock, and instead of cutting this at 5.5 and by 4 1/4, I would do 5 3/8 by 4 1/8, and then I would do like the pine around the outside. But I'm just going to go with this right now, since I have a lot of dark color here. And then this, I'm going to bring in. I kind of like those dots showing, or not the dots, but the little crosses on this. So instead of going, what I would normally do on this would be probably 5 1/4 by 4. I might go just a little bit more. If you don't like that side, you got the other side too, so don't forget to look at both sides. So I'm probably this time gonna go 5 1/8 by probably 3 7/8. Just a little bit more of that background fit in there, kind of like that. Now this would be an excellent case where you would want to do a little distressing, because that's going to make these cards pop out. So I'm going to go grab my ink and a foam tool and distress these to make it look even better. Okay, so I have my distressing. I'm going to also turn this over, actually. I think I was thinking about it, and I think this shows a little better, because if I do it on this side, the X's or the crosses, whatever you want to call them, are not very even there. So I think I'm gonna do it on the other side where it all looks kind of even. And I've got my pine ink here. And we're just gonna ink up the edges. Remember when we used to do this all the time? This was the in thing and you did it constantly. Well, there was a good reason for it. Though it is not necessary on a lot of lighter colors. On something like this, when I'm using two bold patterns, this just is gonna help that stand out a little. So let's try this, see how it looks. Grab my adhesive. And remember, you got both sides on there. Either side looks very cool. And I'm just gonna put that in the center like that. Now, I don't know if this is gonna be a vertical or a horizontal card yet. So let's take a look at what I have left. So now I have a little bit of stripes here. Might wanna use, I have a little bit of extra paper here too. So then I have from the kit, I've got the gold shimmer trim. I've got the platinum stickles that we were using on the actual kit. So I might end up using one of those to brighten it up. And I like lots of layers behind my cards. That really makes a difference. So here's one option. I could just say here, I could cut this down a little bit or leave it longer and put it on this way. I could set it this way and maybe put a strip of shimmer trim along that, which might look real nice. I could push it all the way to the edge here, and that might be cool too. I also could take and put a little bit of this in the middle, which actually I like. So I think I'm gonna do that. So I'm gonna cut this off camera here. And that would be, I had cut that at just under 4, so 3 7/8. Let's just see how that looks. I'm gonna distress those edges. When there is another paper company that I like a lot, that doesn't have paper like ours. It's really different. And I contacted them and said, can you do some videos where you tell about what your process, what your thinking is when you're doing your layouts, because their layouts are very one photo oriented. And so the lady there who does a lot of the designing said that she would try to do that on her next video. So I'm gonna be checking those out. So that's what I'm trying to do for you guys today, is to do a little process thinking. So you can see that even though I cut it this way, I was looking at another way to use it. So this can go anywhere, right? And then the other part can go anywhere. So I can just keep playing with it until I see something that I like. It could go over here. It doesn't have to go in the middle just because I cut it that size. I could go over here and see what I like. I could go all the way down here. That's kind of cool, especially if I put a little bit of shimmer trim right there where that gold's gonna make that really pop out. So, I kind of like that, but let me take it up a little bit and show some of these stripes. Don't know if I like that. I think I like this more at the bottom. So I'm gonna go with that. And see, that's the other side of the stitched. So there we had two options, because it wasn't the same pattern on both sides yet, still the same color. So I'm gonna put that down. And I'm gonna cut this shimmer trim off camera at that same 3 7/8. Although I could go all the way across, but in this case, I think I'm gonna just stick to that 3 7/8. And just that will add a little pop to this whole thing. I felt that cough coming. All right. So I'm gonna put this right here, butting it up against that beige piece we just put, which is, what is that, toffee. I'm gonna grab a drink. Hold on. I don't want to cough through your whole thing. Now I cut this just a little bit long, so I'm gonna take my scissors and lift that just slightly and trim it, because I want it to hit that edge right. All right, so now we've got that. Now I still can play, just because I was thinking that it would look good kind of in the middle or off to the side here doesn't mean that I can't still look at other options. I can cut this piece down. It doesn't have to stay that size. I could keep playing with this until I like it. This is nice. I do kind of like that too. I don't know if I like it this way. It also almost adds a nice little, kind of like the stripes at the bottom here. So I think, and I'm gonna go just slightly off center. And I also think I'm gonna use pop tape on this to really make that jump off of the card. And you know, the other thing I'm gonna do, just to add variety. So let's talk about that for a minute. If I put it right in the center, that's very, let me make sure I'm in camera range there. It's very, can be boring. So slightly off center is a little bit better. The other thing is there's a lot of rectangles on this page. So I'm going to see if I have my corner rounder handy, right? We don't use corner rounders much anymore, but this is a case where I think it would really be helpful. Let's see if I still have mine around. I'm not sure. Ooh, where did that corner rounder go? It might be at home in Michigan. I'm not seeing it. One more look. Yeah, I don't see it, so I don't have it. So that would be an option if you do have a corner rounder, to go ahead and round those corners. Since I don't, I'm not seeing it anywhere else. Well, I'm gonna have to remember to bring that home this weekend. I'm gonna go without the corner rounder then. And I also think I may trim it. There's a lot of space here. And so I think I'm gonna trim the, since I can't round the corners, I'm gonna trim that down just a touch, maybe 1/4 inch on each side, and then re-distress it. That also gives me some more options now. Because it's smaller, I can also tilt it if I want to. So I'll just kind of look at this. I don't think, I was looking to see if I had any more PML cards that might work in here. And then sometimes I like to tilt one way and tilt the other way. I kind of like that a little bit too. Actually, I like that a lot. So I'm gonna now trim this back to the 3 7/8. Stress it. And that will just add a little more layering behind it. Layering is the key. Let me get this up here so that I have that on nice and straight. And I'm gonna do the right side. Let's make sure I did do the green side, yeah, okay. A little bit like there. I wanna make sure I'm doing the same side on both parts. And just glue that on. And now I think this is gonna look even better. And I still am gonna pop it up. And I wanna show some of the gold. So let me get my pop tape. Thick one so I don't have to cut it twice. There we go. All right. Now, because I don't want this to punch down, I'm going to put quite a bit. See, I also had this other side I could have played with too. That would have looked really nice right there. But we're going to go with this. So I'm going to cover this with quite a bit of tape. I won't be having a thing that has the measurements on here. You're just gonna have to grab them off as I talk. We were, for a while, doing quite a few bonuses every single month, but man, that took a lot of time. And so we're gonna try to bring some back in. And the other problem was that a lot of the girls who were designing layouts and cards and stuff stopped doing it for a while, or were doing it much less. So we didn't have quite as many bonuses to share with you, but mostly it was time. So this month you're getting a little bit of bonus with this cards, and I'm hoping down the road here, as things ease up, we'll be able to do some more bonuses for your creative design studio. So I'm gonna put that on the side slightly. Now, what do I have? I think I would like some sparkles on here, and I think in the other room, oh well, you know what, might as well go ahead and use this because I have this, right? So I was going to take some sparkles, but all right, so here we have on here now, I have this all those little crosses from that paper, so that's really perfect. I can put a little dot of this stuff in the middle of each cross, and before I do that, let me put it down on my card base. Then we'll actually totally be done once this embellishing is done. So I'm just gonna glue this on the card base real quick. When you have anything that's gonna have to dry, if you can wait till the end to do it, then you can set your stuff aside, right? So I like to line it up with the fold first, because you can't cut the fold, but you can always trim the edges, right? All right, there we go. So now I'm gonna go back, and on each of these little X's that I see, I'm gonna put a little dot of stickles. And this is the platinum one that I recommended you buy for the card kit. And I will make a supply list for these, but it's basically the same stuff as you bought for the card kit and leftovers from the card kit. So I'm just gonna go around with all these crosses here and put a little dot in each one, and then it'll be done. We'll let it dry. And cute, huh? Chestnuts roasting on an open fire. Wonderful, love it. Let's move on to the next. Okay, here's our next bits and bobs. So I've got this brown checked one. This is the kind of like has pine boughs on it. And then this little bird. See, they all match in colors, either side. So I got a lot to play with there. Don't like the gray so much there. Let's see what we got on the back of this. And then this has a little red. I don't like that, so I'm gonna stick to this side, and I'm either gonna choose this or this, but I probably will go with this. Now this is the background that I was looking at having. I also could use pine and cardstock. I could use this other side, although it's really not dark enough. So I'm gonna go with this wood grain look. And cutting it at 5.5 by 4 1/4. I'm gonna do it with the stripes horizontal. Don't forget you always got the zip strips too to play with if you need something else to go under there. So 5.5 by 4 1/4. Again, I'm gonna do a little distressing on this. I'm just gonna go ahead and do that with the pine once I get all these pieces kind of ready. Now this piece, obviously, is gonna have to be cut down. And that's why the distressing is gonna look great on that. So I'm gonna cut this down, because since this is 5.5 by 4 1/4, I'm gonna cut this down. This is at 4 already, so I will go down to 5 1/4. And let's see how that looks. Oop, I didn't go down far enough, did I? Oh, I forgot, this is at 6, so I need to be at 5 1/4. Oh, I did, 5 1/4 was correct, I just didn't cut it right, okay. So that goes there. I'm gonna keep this zip strip close too, because I kind of almost like that, although the color is a little bit light. And then we've got these two pieces. So this to me is a background piece that I would kind of tilt somehow. So I don't like the other side. So let's turn this way now. So I could put this sideways and put this down like this. I could tilt this slightly and put this like this, or if I want to go back horizontal like this. I do like this side better. So I may end up doing that. The other thing is I can cut this card down too, although I don't think I'm going to. So first thing up, I'm gonna distress these pieces since it doesn't look like I'm gonna cut anymore. Here's another time when I think that rounded corners would be good on the bird, or maybe on the brown pine bough piece. I think that would also look good on that. It just adds another difference. Instead of having all these rectangles, you know, then you've got a rounded rectangle on that adds a curve to the whole thing, which is nice. Another thing you can do is if you have a circle, you know, I don't have any punches with me, but look, like if I had a circle background that I could stick behind one of these pieces, then that adds that roundness in there too, so not everything is straight up and down, right? I could look through my stuff, trying to think just off the top of my head whether I have anything like that. I'm gonna go gentler on this because that's very, very white paper there. So like just if I had a little circle of something, and I don't think I do. I can't really think of anything that I've done lately that would have a circle on it. So let's see how this is gonna look. So I'm thinking, and this would have been, looked really good with distressing with a dark brown too. So I could put this here. A lot of times I love lining up on the actual lines, so you don't even have to use a ruler or anything. And then kind of stick that there. And I do have, so I have the stamp set from the stamp, which we can put a little sentiment on. I could do that. I could turn this slightly and put this here. And there's plenty of room for a sentiment. On this one, I've got time for mistletoe and holly, Merry Christmas, sending you, wishing you joy, wishing you love this holiday season. So I might do maybe the Merry Christmas because it looks like it fits, or maybe that time for mistletoe and holly, we'll see. So still deciding until I find something that I like, you know, that hits me and I'm going, yep, that's the right thing. Okay, this is gonna need, I think, a little bit of shimmer. So this is going down for sure. So I'm gonna put this down, and then I'm gonna play with my shimmer trim next. And just kind of see, pretty good, whether I want that on there, which I probably do, just to break it up. Yeah, and I think I'm only gonna go the length of this paper here. Yeah, I think I am. So I'm gonna put that down there. So that's gonna be at 5 1/4. And then I'll just add a little bit more layering underneath. I also used pine paper, pine glitter paper with this card kit. So that's another option you could use in there. I don't have one in front of me. There's probably some around here someplace. So I'm probably gonna mostly play with this shimmer trim. Plus it's so easy to use. And I am thinking maybe I'll even go up a bit. So I'm gonna go put my shimmer trim right down across that line that's already there. Be cute. I'll trim it just a little bit more. And go back to playing with this. It's not perfect, so I'm still not quite sure. I could put that there and let this shimmer trim peek out, but then I'm really covering a lot of that. And then I could do the tilting. And there would still be room for a sentiment there. And I also could do it here with the other side. You know, that bird's not horrible. And that one. So this is what I do. I just keep playing. I could cut this down still. It's not too late. I could put this all the way to the edge and have him come on out this side. Like that. I'll flip it around. Have it over here. And then like that, or up a little bit, or down a little bit. This is what I do. I just keep playing until it's just right. And so far, I'm not feeling it. So another thing I can do is I can lay this in a straight line. And lay this in a straight line. It gets rid of some of my shimmer trim, but I think, though it's not going to be perfect, I'm probably going to go back and do it this way. I think that's about the closest to what I like. So, not perfect. It's not going to be one of my favorite cards, but it's okay. And then we'll stamp. Did I have, yep, I have the pine out here. That should work since there's pine in this one. And I think I, maybe just Merry Christmas. Let me see. So now I'm just gonna look at the stamps. Time for mistletoe and holly, but there's no holly, you know, on my page here. I could just do a little Merry Christmas here. Now, if I had a circle punch, I'd do punch out some of this paper probably, and do the Merry Christmas on a circle to make that stand out. But instead, I'm probably gonna have to use a square. I'm not liking it directly on there now, so I think I need one more bit that will stand out. So one option is this, except I don't think it's gonna stand out that much on there. Also I might fill this up a little bit because there's so much space. So let me cut that zip strip at 4 inches and fill that piece up a little bit. Because look at how much space is there. So let me do a little more layering. Am I staying in camera? Ugh. So I'm gonna put this across the top. Make that smaller. And do I wanna do it across the bottom too? If I do that, then my Merry Christmas doesn't need to fill up so much space. So I think I'm going to go ahead and cut this other zip strip. This is from the Mix-In. And do a little distressing on that. And that will just make this piece smaller. So not so much to fill up. And then that'll also probably give me a spot to do a little of some little dots or something with that platinum stickles. So just like this. And then I'm gonna do that Merry Christmas. And do I have a block? This one should fit. And foam. And I think this has already been seasoned, so I won't season that again. And I'm gonna put it over here by his tail. Hopefully that's straight. It didn't look really well. Close enough. Take this off and I'm gonna put it on the card base. This would make a good fall card too. So it doesn't have to be a Christmas card to change that sentiment. Because it's still fall, technically, right? I think if I was to do this one again, I would go back and use brown distressing instead of the green. I think the green is standing out too much for me. So I'm gonna just put down here 3 big globs to make it look like a sparkle of this platinum. Try to make them even. And then they'll kind of look like sparkles. That's pretty close. All right, so there's that one. Okay, let's try another one. This one also is not going to need any background paper, at least not yet. So there's a big Christmas tree on that one, on both sides, but I want the background of the dots to go behind this. This one I'm not gonna distress. So what I am gonna do is cut it down. So this is gonna be the tricky part. Okay, so I have to cut this down, but I want it to be the background, right? Now I don't have to cut the 4 down because it's gonna fit on a 5.5 by, oh, I actually am gonna need a little background paper now that I think about it. So I will need some. Let me see. I want to use this maybe. Yeah, that'd be fine. Or I'll probably grab some pine. Anyway, so I don't want to, since I'm going to have to trim off of each edge, and I don't want to run into the tree, I'm probably going to trim from this side so that there'll be plenty of room as a border. So let me just cut that. So these are all 4 by 6. So I need to get it down to 5.5, right? So I'm gonna cut off a 1/4 inch there and cut off a 1/4 inch here. And now, but actually I wanna go down further because this is 4, so I need to go down to 4 1/4. So now I'm gonna take off 1/8 of an inch. So really you're gonna take off 3/8 of an inch of each side. Am I out of camera range? I probably am, sorry about that. Okay, so that's now going to be part of my card base, but I'm going to get some pine paper, I think. And cut this. Let me see how I like it. That's pretty good. Sage would have worked well too. So I'm going to cut this at 5.5. And I am going to look at the other side too, because the other side will probably be lighter or darker. And just see which one looks best with this background. So I've got that, and I've got that, and then my I've got, you know, sage would really have looked well with that too. So I'm just gonna go like that. That I think is the light side. I like that a little bit better. No distressing this time. And I'm gonna put that down to form a border around this paper. And so I'm gonna cut this paper down to 5, let's see, that one's at 5 1/4, so I need this to be 5 by 3 3/4. This is very pretty. Anybody get a poinsettia out there for this Christmas season? I did. Mine's white though. Look at how pretty that looks. You could have used this other side too with that big old poinsettia and then just put a sentiment. That would have been fine. All right, like that. And then we want to put this holly jolly on here someplace. So I'm going to probably trim that down. There's an awful lot there. Oh, I like the red too. But see, the red is candy apple and there's a lot of scarlet in this. So I'm probably not going to use the red side. So, but this is big. So I'm going to trim this down a bit. So I think I'll take a 1/4 inch off of each side. And then we'll see what it looks like. And I'm probably going to want some pretty gold shimmer trim on this too. Let's see, I like that. I will probably pop that up. Let me see if I want some gold. underneath this or not. I don't know if it's gonna really show up very well. So I'm also thinking, do I want a little bit of this as a border? And I think I do. So what did I cut this? I cut this down to, let me see, measurement, to 3.5. So I will cut this at 3 3/8, or 3 5/8 by 3 1/8. And that'll make a nice little mat to pop that on. And I think that'll look better. I'll just make it stand out just a touch more. And then I'm gonna pop that up for sure. Holly jolly. Now, let me just see how I want it. Cute. I kind of like, now I'm thinking I might put some of that gold down because I like the way these are lined up here, those flowers. So if I kind of bordered that off a little bit. Still don't like it. So this way. I think this is the best spot. I could still put some gold maybe, but just along this piece, I think that would look okay. Or I could do a little banner off the side. Let me see if I did that. That'd be kind of pretty. All right, let me put this down first. So foam tape. Let's get a lot. So that it doesn't punch down in the middle when somebody opens up the card. You don't want it dipping in. Where's my fat tape? Here we go. This will fill it up faster. So tell me, you guys, what are you doing for Christmas? Where do you go? We go to my mom's house in Michigan, Battle Creek. And for Thanksgiving, we had about 24 people there. For Christmas, we'll have just a little less because my one brother is going to spend it with his son and daughter down in Illinois. My brother and his wife. So I think we're going to have maybe closer to 22 people. And we don't do Christmas presents anymore as a big family. I buy one Christmas present a piece for my kids. I ask them what they want, and then that's what they get for Christmas. Yep, I think that looks pretty good. I might cut this a little shorter and maybe tuck it under. So, but we stopped doing the big family Christmas present thing because that was, I'm gonna cut this about 4 inches long, I think, and then we'll just see how I like it. I'm gonna tuck it under, so it's probably gonna be less than 4 inches. So let me cut it down to 3.5. So instead we do one Chinese auction thing. I'm gonna cut this slanted here and slanted here the same way. And then we draw the numbers, you know, and then you can steal from each other. So we each bring a $30 gift, and that's our Christmas thing. Because we decided after all these years, my poor 80-year-old mother shouldn't have to go out and buy presents for everybody. All right, and I'm just gonna try to tuck it a little bit underneath because I like that look. It's hard because it's sticky. It might not work there. There we go. Okay, not too bad. Just like that. Just add a little glue. This side needs to come out just a touch. Okay. And then we attach it to the card base, and then we'll just add a little bit of the shimmer trim to the poinsettias. So, yep, with my kids, it's one present a piece. They're all adults. They don't need to have a big thing anymore. My husband and I don't exchange gifts. We like to take trips instead. Now, if you had red sparkles, that would be awesome on that. But I'm just gonna fill in a little bit on these poinsettias, just a little dab in the middle. And that's not a bad card. All right, next card. This one was a little bit tricky, but I got an idea for it. Just gonna require a little bit of cutting. So first I wanted the harbor to show as the outside card front. So 5.5 by 4 1/4. I wanna pick up a lot of colors that are in this card with the little soldiers on it. So there's the harbor, and then a little gray. So I'm just gonna do just 1/8 of an inch off. So I'm doing 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. And then I want to pick up some of this red. So I decided to go back and find this card because I like the red on the outside. But I need a saying. And I think the Be Joyful on this side is going to be too big. So I'm going to cut out of here because I think I can still fit everything in there. We'll have to trim it a bit. It's going to be close. But I'm going to cut this out. So I'm just going to poke this in here and cut around it a little bit. And I'm probably going to want it straight when I get it all done. But we'll see. I'm not sure exactly how I'll do that. So I'm going to go back to this one, and I'm going to take off, we need this to be, what did I need? I need it to be 5 1/4. So I'm going to take off, let me see. Let me take off 1/4. I don't want to take off too much. Let me take off 1/8. I want to make sure. I'm terrible at math, so I'm going to take off 1/8 of each inch, and then just, oh, I forgot, that is 6 inches long. This might not work because it's not, I think it's going to be too small. I should have kept this bigger because I really wanted that color behind it. Let me see, there's other things to do. If I cut this down, I just don't cut it anymore. Let me see how long that is. I can't be longer than my my card base. Let me take off another 1/8. I just want to make sure there's still some border there. That's my biggest issues here, is I want to be able to put this on and have a little of that red border. So now let me see if this will fit. It's still too long for the gray. But see, if I cut too much more there, I'm not going to have anything. So let me just play with this for a second, because I know I'll have to cut down the soldiers. So let me see, if I put this here, then it's as long as this outside piece, pretty much. Although I didn't cut very straight, it looks like. Let me see. If I put that there and then put this here and cut that down, I could still have a little bit there. I really need to cut this a little more. So let me just measure it for a second. So they don't all turn out wonderful, that's for sure. So the big one that I have there is, the base is 5.5 by 4 1/4. So if I can get this down to a little bit more without wrecking it. Let me see. So I'm gonna cut off another 1/4. So this whole thing is 5 1/4, which is what I thought I was doing at the beginning. And put that on. And then take this next one. Was it the gray? Yes, the gray. And get this down a little bit smaller. So do this at 5 1/8 by 3 7/8. Let's see how that looks. Does that fit smaller? Yeah, so that'll still bring the red in for my soldiers. So let's do that. Okay. Takes a lot of experimenting when you're designing. And we'll see how it all turns out in the end. Maybe ugly. But cards, the beauty about those is you don't, if you ruin a card, it's not that much paper, right? Unlike a layout where you can really wreck things up. And I'm gonna get that right in the middle. So a little bit of that red comes through. And then I'm gonna cut this down. So I'm gonna cut him pretty close to where the printing starts. So let's take it, see if I can get a quarter. Yeah, a quarter off of that side. And I'll try a quarter off of this side. And we'll see. Then I'm gonna take a quarter off the end there. Quarter off the end there. Let's see what this looks like before I trim down more. I'm purposely not cutting it all the way because I want to see how much I have here. Because it would look kind of cute going all the way across the card. Like that. I'm not hating it. Now let's go back and look at what we cut out here. I would like this, I probably want this to be straighter. So I think I'm gonna go and, you could cut around it, and I may end up doing that, but just in case, I'm gonna see if I can straighten the whole thing up. Probably not. I probably should have cut it in a rectangle. Let me see. I'm just gonna go up around it now, since I couldn't do it straight. And I'm not gonna cut all the way close to the letters. I'm gonna leave a 1/16 of an inch. And I may not like this. And so we may have one wasted PML card. But yeah, maybe it might turn out okay. So do you like fussy cutting? I actually find it pretty relaxing. You gotta focus though. Any of those crafts where you really have to focus are nice for stress, right? That's how cross stitch used to be for me. I used to do cross stitching before scrapbooking. I still miss it. I don't think I could do it as well now because, you know, the eyes are getting old. But the thing about cross stitching is you couldn't think about anything else. You had to be counting every single minute. And so it really took you away from your problems for a long time every time you were doing it. And it was something you could kind of do while listening to the TV or listening to music or listening to a podcast or a book on tape. I'm listening to a good book on tape right now. I think it's called The Man Called Ove. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. I just started it, but I love it already. And I know they made 2 movies with it. One is a foreign film, and then one has been made with Tom Hanks playing the grumpy old man. So I'm sure that'll be very cute. They've changed the name for that one, though. It's something else. A Man Called Something Else. I don't know. But it's sweet, and it's funny. And now that I know that Tom Hanks is playing it as I'm listening to the book, that's all I can think of is Tom. Hey, this turned out pretty good. All right. So now we just figure out where we're gonna put it. I'm gonna trim a little bit of a curve. I don't like that super straight up there. Around these 2 letters. And then I'll just pop this up somewhere. It could be there. I haven't tucked this down yet, so I still can trim this more if I want to. I may. I think I will. I think I'm gonna take a good 1/2 inch off each side. So that makes this now, because I probably confused 4 1/2 by about 3 1/2. So if I push it to the side here, that leaves me a little more room for this. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. Another thing you could have done is use the guy on the back, or you could just cut it down to 2 little soldiers. Whatever fits. If you wanted to do a vertical card, you could have done that. This is going to be popped up for sure. So let's see what tape I can fit in here. And, you know, now I'm looking, I do have this spot here. So let me, once I get this ready to go, I'm gonna see if I want any of that shimmer trim in there. I think I need just a tiny little piece there so that that doesn't pop up. All right. So if we took my shimmer trim and put a little bit down here, it's very sparkly. And then I could flip this over and have this kind of coming off here. I kind of like it because it fills up that space a little bit, but in a different way. So what did I say that was? 3 1/2. And if I don't, the other option is, I'm gonna cut this, but the other option is to pick a different thing. So what else do I have laying around here from my old ones? I do have this piece, which isn't horrible. It picks up all those colors, or this piece. I think it's a bit much though. I think I'm gonna go with the shimmer trim. Just pull that off. Are you sticking with me? Different type of a class, right? Craft as you go. And just like that. And then let me pull all these little bits and bobs and stuff off of here. And we'll see how this all turns out. I didn't put it on a card base yet. We'll do that in a second. And again, I can still change this. You know, I've got that balancing this side out. So if I wanted to, I could go over here, but I don't like it so much on the red. I think this little green is a better background, makes it jump out. This would be really great with liquid glass. And since liquid glass was one of the items I recommended you buy for this card kit, we might just play with that for a second. So instead of using the stickles, let me find my liquid glass. Hopefully I've got one with a nice sharp point because I will need it for this. Alright. Yeah, this bottle looks pretty new. Am I staying in camera range, I hope. Alright, let me I buy these little straight pins to help me with that if it gets stuck. So these are kind of helpful to have some. These are actually, I think, hat pins. But sometimes it gets a little clogged up there, and this seems to help a lot, and it's just the right kind of width. All right, now what I want to do is I'm going to try, and I don't think I'm going to do the B because that's the BE is very, very tiny, but I am going to go ahead and try to color in Let's see how smoothly this is coming out. All the red for the word joyful. And I'm just gonna draw on it. On the thinner parts, you're probably gonna go out of line, but it's still gonna look cool. If you don't let the air get back into your liquid glass, keeping a consistent pressure on it, then you really can avoid a lot of the air bubbles. So I just kind of keep a really good pressure on it. If you do get an air bubble though, take that very same straight pin and just pop it. So it is going outside the lines a little bit, but it's gonna be a cool look when it dries though. So don't think that that's ruined. Okay, now it had to take a breath, so I might get an air bubble on this one. And I just look to make sure it's smoothed out. You know, you can kind of see if it's lumpy, and that's where you want to put a little bit more on it or smooth it out with the stem. And I think it's going to look cool when it's done. And that just adds another little dimension to the card to make it special. Just like that. So we'll let that dry. And we've done 4 cards already. It hasn't taken too long. So let me hold that up for you. All right, and we'll move on. All right, let's do another card. This one should probably go pretty fast. I usually find the ones that have three small cards are easy to put together. So I'm going to use this wooden background at 5.5 by 4.25. And then I'm just going to play with these because you've got 3 pretty colors here. And I think without really making much effort that this is going to look really cute. So I'm just trying to make a background for this. Let's see what we got on the other side. Nothing. And I like the idea of it going off the page a little bit. And maybe coming off that way. So I'm going to take a chance and just glue these down because I want them to go off the page so I can trim them like that. And oops, I think I wanted to do the other side. Let me look and see how this is gonna look. I've already put glue on it. Let's go with it. I'll set this one down, again going off the page, and then I'm gonna trim. And then we'll see where this final piece will go. And if I wanna use some shimmer trim, all of that. So I'm just gonna trim these flush. The edge here. Another cool thing you could do is tear it. If you tore at the bottom and then you put it on the card base, then you're gonna have this cool looking edge. Looks like I need to trim just a little bit more here. So I might do that. Let's see. So we've got that way. I could do that way. I kind of like that. Actually, I like it a lot. I think we're going right with that. But I probably want to put some shimmer trim first. So before I glue that down, let me do shimmer trim right across this whole part here. And I think that's going to look good. I think that'll brighten it up because it's pretty muted colors there. And that'll probably leave a lot of spots for us to go ahead and use that stickles too. since the Stickles matches the shimmer trim. So I'm gonna go right up against the edge of this one and continue across the card like that, and then trim it off using my non-stick scissors. Just like that. And then kind of put this down like that. I like it. I like it. Let me put this on the card back. This is different. Kind of a different look, a little more modern look. So, one of the things I've got up here at the top is all of these little dots. So I can just really jazz this card up by filling in all these white dots. And I think that's gonna look awesome. That's gonna take this card to the next level. They go out to dry. I like this idea. And that's going to really make that stand out from just being a 3 p.m. PML card to being something really special. Because they're going to have all this glitter. So even the half ones I'm doing, I'm just trying to fill in that white. There, 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 and 2 more, and that's really special. So, different, but I like it. All right, so let me see what else I have, if I can just grab something fast. This one I was also going to put on that wood paper, but I think I may be out of wood paper. So let's see what else I've got here. Got that blue, that's pretty. I think I was going to kind of cover the journaling block here, if I do it. So this gray isn't bad behind there, or we've got this gray, which, looks nice too. I might use them both, since why not? You know, we can use up some of this stuff. The only problem with these, well, actually this one will work because this is actually a whole piece of paper. I was gonna say is with those PML cards being your background, they only extend 4 inches, but this doesn't. This goes the whole 4 1/4. All right, and then let's do that, and then we'll do this inside of it. So 5 1/4 by 4. And that takes up some room that we will now fill up with those PML cards. So we've got now, it would be great if I had some scarlet paper there to pick up the scarlet. Could do something like this. Actually, yeah. Let me see what this looks like on the back. Yeah, it's all gray. So if I cut this and did more of that kind of hanging off the edge thing, just to bring in that extra color, that might look okay. So let's do another more modern look. So I'm gonna take this across the side to bring in that color, and then, oh, I kind of like that too. Piling one monochromatic on the other. Let me just see how that looks. I want to definitely cover up the journaling block there. All right, I think we're going to flip it over. Another thing you can do with this, so I don't have to put this straight in the middle. I could do this one sideways too. So let me do that. And then trim those off just like we did on the last card. And just see where we're at. So I'm going with the card base, which is this big one here, and I'm just going to trim around that. Really the card front. I'm just trimming everything flush with that card front. So you can tell these are not the non-stick scissors. All right, and then we can come in back. So I've got that red popping up over there. Now, what I would do that would be smart is I would put my sentiment in red too. So I think I'm gonna do this. So I'm gonna go like this. I'm gonna use the lines on the check there to be a guide for where I place this. So I'm going to line it up right with the line of the check and then put this. I want to just let some of that color show. And then I'm going to grab, for the sentiment, I'm going to grab some of that scarlet ink in the other room. I'm loving this. So I've got my scarlet. I'm going to, this is a place where I think that Time for Mistletoe and Holly would fit. So I think that it would look good here, and I think it goes with this theme on this card. So let me grab a block. Now just a reminder on your blocks, there's a sharp side and a smooth side. The smooth side is the one that goes up, so it's more comfortable to hold on to. This would also work in black if you don't have scarlet. And I'm gonna have to stand for this one because I want it to get just right. Hold it down, let it sink in a little bit. And then lift straight. Beautiful. Now see that last card was a little modern. I'm not, you know, it was okay, but this one, love. Let's get this on a card base, and then we'll decorate if needed. It may not even need it. Okay. I really like it. Oh, the beauty of these PML cards and how fast you can do this. All right, only thing I think I'm gonna do here is just a little bit of these dots. And I think I'm just going to, well, I could go through and put them on all of these white dots. That really would look awesome, so why not? Wherever there's a dot on this paper, I'm gonna put a little dab of stickles and jazz it up. Cute. Cute and easy. And it looks like you've used our bitty sparkles that way, which would take forever to do like this, but this goes fast. So I'm not only gonna do them down here, but I'm also gonna do them up here because there's a little bit of those polka dots up there. So now you've changed that pattern paper into something special. Okay, this baby is done. I love how that turned out. All right, let me see what else I have, if I can grab it quickly or not. I don't have too much left. So we have holiday memories here, which I think I was gonna try and use these as borders, but there's not a lot of room there, so it may not work. So let me just cut down the holiday memories first. And I'm just gonna cut that to as close as I can, actually, to the words, and then I'll figure out how much that is. So basically I'm cutting it down to about 5 1/8, and that is 3/8 then I should cut 3/8 from top from the rest of it. So I'll just do a 1/4 from the top and another 1/8 from the bottom. All right, so that now puts me at 5 1/8 by 3 5/8. So everything has to be bigger than that. Let me see how we can do it on these borders, if that's gonna work. Because I gotta, that's tight. See that already? I'm seeing that this is a little too big for my border, so I may use those as something else. Let me see what this looks like. And that's a little long too. So that's not gonna really make a very good border either. So a couple of things I can do is just cut these into stripes, you know, and put those behind. So that's probably what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna make some 1/4 inch strips, not stripes, strips off the edges of these, and I will put them on the cardstock unless I have something else. And I'm thinking, I know I had a popcorn piece back there that I could decorate, so let me see if that's still sitting there. So this popcorn piece picks up those same colors. I could use, yeah, I'll use the white on there. So I can cut this down to 5 1/4 by 4. And I'm probably gonna put this on some green paper. Now it's the popcorn is not exactly in the scarlet color, only the shadow is. So it's mostly candy apple there, but let me see how this would look if we fill this up a little bit with some of these stripes. Stripes. I could put 2 there and then some shimmer trim across and then 2 more. I could even put it up at the top here, which I think would be easier. So here's what I'm gonna do since I'm gonna fill this up with some strips at the top, is I'm just gonna put the glue right here, about the amount that I think is gonna work to hold these. I'm gonna take the white side, the French vanilla side first, and I'm gonna put it right up against the edge. And then the scarlet. Like that. And then I'm gonna do some shimmer trim across the center there. Got a little piece. And this way we're breaking up that background. So like if you just put a card down or a sentiment down on a background without any layering, it's not gonna look as good. So we're breaking it up by putting in some layers of paper. Okay, and I'm gonna do 2 more. And then we'll see what else I wanna put on. So let me do the white again. And the scarlet. I still got zip strips around here too, so if I need something else, I can fill it up. Okay, I've got to cut those off, flush back here. Now I have a big sentiment on this holiday memories thing. Holiday memories. So if I cut this down quite a bit, I could fill up a lot of that right there. So let's try that. I'm just gonna cut very close to the print, starting at this upper star here, and then right across the bottom as close as I can get to that. So that's about 2 1/4 inches. Let me see what this looks like now. If I go right across, I think that looks pretty good there. Yep, I like it down there. Let me see if I want to put it at the top instead. So hard to decide. It does look good that way too. And let me look at the bottom again. Let's go for the bottom. Either way, it's gonna look good. All right. Just like that. Still gets a little bit of that popcorn in there. And now we need a color behind. Let's see what I've got to play with. I've still got some of these stripes. That's a bit bold. Yeah, I don't like that. I got some Harbor, but there really wasn't any Harbor in that. Let me see if I got any pine left. So I have some just French vanilla there. That's not bad, but I think I like this cream. And let me see if I have any of that left. I think all I have is black left. Doesn't mean I can't go get more. But yeah, I think I done. I think I used most of that green. Let me see. Is there anything else I can play with? And this is, it's not terrible. But you know, I'm feeling like it needs something else. So you know what I'll probably do is I think I'm gonna go get some of that scarlet to really pick that up. And even though I didn't mention it at the beginning of it, I am now adding scarlet cardstock. All right, I am off camera cutting the scarlet cardstock to 5.5 by 4 1/4. And let's see how it looks. I think it's really gonna bring out those colors a lot. There's light side. I think the dark side looks better. I think that makes everything pop off there. Only thing I'm seeing that I don't like is there's not a lot of green towards the top. It's just gray, so I'm gonna look and see what I have here to add a little bit of green towards the top. So let me see. I've got this strip that I must have had from the last one, so I'm just gonna add this in right over that scarlet strip. So I'm gonna cut that at 5 1/4 because it really needs some green up here. Yep, 5 1/4. So I'm gonna just glue that, I believe. Because if you're looking at this card, you can kind of tell something's missing up here, and it's because there's all green down here and nothing to reflect that up here. So I think this is going to make it look a little better, a little more cohesive. It's like when I was decorating my living room, and I've got these 3 pretty bright colored couches and chairs. To make those all cohesive, I found a rug that had all 3 colors in it. And then I started decorating using the 3 colors that are in these couches and stuff. Same way, you make everything look cohesive by making sure that a little bit of that color is everywhere. So that looks way better. And card base. Oh, I also had the zip strip, which would have, I think it's too busy. So let's put this on the card base and we'll see if we want to do any more decorating. Just like that. See how quickly these come together? PML cards are awesome. Did I tell you that when they first put them out, they came in packs of 64? They had to stop making them in those packs because the artists couldn't keep up with the amount of art that they had to do to make PML cards alone. I think the only thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put in each one of these stars a little bit of gold. That'll bring this gold down into this area. So just a dot of that. Beautiful. All right. Set that to dry and we'll move on to the next card. Okay, here's what I have left. So these two I was going to work with together because I like them, but the Christmas morning thing is throwing me a bit. I've also got this, which fits with these two also. So those are something that I could throw in that. I've got our leftovers from the last card where we just cut the strips, and that wish list is kind of cute. And I can tell you one of the things you can do with this. I'm not sure if I'll actually get to this card, but one of the things you can do with this is on your wish list, you just put you. That makes a pretty lovey-dovey Christmas card. Another thing you could just do is put all the people that you love on there too. So that would be another cute way to use that. But these probably are best saved for some layouts later instead of cards. Although you still could do just the same kind of stuff that I've been doing. Cover up those parts, you know, cover up the journaling with some kind of other thing. So let's just play with this black one here, and I may add in another card. I know I wanted the background to be black, so let me do a 5.5 by 4 1/4. And yeah, the only thing that bothers me is Christmas morning is not exactly a sentiment, so not quite sure what I'm gonna do with that. Then this one would be a great one to do stripes across the card, but I think I'm gonna go the whole thing and do 5 1/4 by 4 and pop that right here. Can you see that with the, let me put a lighter color so you guys can see better, as that black just blends in. So I'm gonna do this. And then I have to decide how I'm gonna deal with this Christmas morning thing, or if I'm gonna use it at all. That's another thing with the PML cards. Some of them don't lend themselves to be cards as well. So we've got this, which is interesting. Both of these are journaling ones, which means I could stamp something on them. I could stamp something over and over again. I could just totally cover up the lines. I don't have much left here at all in sentiments, so I'm gonna probably have to stamp something. So this would make a cute border, but doesn't show, you know, doesn't stand out much. We need some white in there, I think, or some of that off-white, because see how this just blends right into the background. Doesn't really stand out. I do love this. It's just Christmas morning is not a good sentiment. So, but I do like the rest of it, and I love the color of the red. I could bring this in, and then let's do that. So I'm going to make a small version of the card front. Let's do 4.5 by, that would have been 1 by 3 1/4, and just bring that color in and see what that does. You know, it kind of fills it up so that you don't have to fill so much space. And then I don't like that one. This one's kind of cool. And then I could take the strip off of here and do something with it. Let's go this way. Like that. It's interesting, but it doesn't pop out much. I might have to actually use some black cardstock in the middle of this, which I think I will do. All right, so I want to use this, so I'm going to cut that out, and I think I'm going to put it across that red in the opposite direction. Let me cut that. We might still use these lines too. Don't know yet. All right. Let me put this on. And I'm going to bring it in just a touch so that red shows on both sides of the strip. Kind of like that. And then trim this off. kind of like that. And I'm gonna tack that down because I'm good with it. I wish I had some silver shimmer trim, but I don't want to use something that you guys don't have in front of you. So let's look at this now. If I put this over, but filled the inside with black, maybe down here a little further. So let me measure that because this doesn't, you know, look that great just like that. So let me find my ruler and I might cut an inside here. So this is about, if I do 3 5/8 by 2 5/8. I can fill that spot. 3 5/8 by 2 5/8. And we'll fill that, we'll cover that journaling like this. Wish I had 1 sentiment left, but I'll have to probably use the stamp set. Like that. And then that could either go like that, it could go over here, could go down here, it could go across. That doesn't look bad. I almost like it up here. I kind of do. So I'm gonna go with that. I'm putting it right up at the top with the, for that piece. And let's see what else we have here. Got these. I could use this for the sentiment. See how long the wish list is. Nah, don't like that either. And all I've got is, but I do have Christmas. I don't have to put Christmas morning in there, right? I could just put Christmas. Let's cut that down and see. Christmas, and then I could do Christmas joy. So I'm gonna butt this up against here, but probably pop it. So we get a little dimension there. There'd be a lot of patterns on this card. I'm very pleased with most of these. There's, you know, some are more iffy, but pretty much. And you know, I don't know if this happens to you, but I find like when I look at them tomorrow, I'll love them all. I give it a day and it settles in, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh yeah, that was cute. Oh, that was cute. I do see, I don't like that, the bird one. I don't like that I distressed it in green. I really wish I had done brown. So if you haven't done these yet, that would be something I would probably recommend. All right, now we need to do the joy, but I'm gonna have to do it on some lighter colored paper. So why not go ahead and use this, right? So let me get my little foamy thing. It's disappeared, and I got too much stuff on my verse mat, so I don't really want to have to turn it over. Okay, here we go. And I think I've got 2 choices here. I can go ahead and do it in black, or I can do it in the scarlet. Let's go for, we'll go for black first and see. And I don't have a block here, so I'm gonna go ahead and do the ruler trick. Do I have black here? I may not. So, all right, we're going with scarlet then. We'll see if I cleaned my stamp the last time. I can be lazy. It looks a little dark, so let's see. I've got lots of space to play with. And I'm gonna just line it up on the lines here. Push it down. See if it comes up red or red and black. We'll see if I wash the stamp. If not, I'll have to stop and go wash it. I can be lazy about that. Hey, it looks pretty good. All right, so that could even use some liquid glass maybe. Let's see if I'm up to that. So now I'm just going to cut that down close to the letters. And am I out of camera? Sorry if I'm my battery is on low, so I hope it's still recording. That one down. And this part, real close to that line. And we'll see how it looks. And I think this will be our last one because I've just got scraps. So I'm gonna put that also popped up. Whew, getting hot in here. The heat from other people's apartments heats up our apartment, and so sometimes we actually have to turn the air conditioning on to cool it down. So I'm gonna have to do that in a minute, I think. All right, let's put this Christmas Joy under here. And I'm gonna go just slightly off the black to add some interest there. And then, do we want, I think I'm gonna go with the stickles rather than the shimmer trim there. And maybe just put 3 here, 3 little globs. And then 3 down here, because that's a little empty down there and I think I could use it. All right, and I didn't put it on my card base first before I did that, which I should have. You get some journaling things if you're a scrapbooker. You can pass them on to a friend. If I get very inventive and come up with something, you'll see one more card, but those are not inspiring me. And we use most of the packs, so we should be very proud of ourselves. All right, there's the last card. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.